But first, you are looking live right now, Southern Manhattan, where a judge today threatened to kick Donald Trump out of a courtroom. The former president expected to speak any moment now there in New York City. Again, live pictures, Donald Trump soon. He was in court today for the damages phase of the E. Jean Carroll civil case, where a civil jury found Trump sexually abused and defamed her. Now, the judge today warned the former president that he could be removed from the courtroom, get out of here, if he continued disruptive behavior. Here was part of the exchange. The judge saying, quote, "I understand you're probably eager for me to do that." Trump responded about the possibility of kicking him out. "I would love it." Hello to you all. Thanks for being with us here on the Hill. You know, we've seen Trump, Iowa, court, New Hampshire, court, back to New Hampshire tonight. Is this mix sort of a preview of what we're going to be seeing out of Donald Trump potentially the next 10 months?
This is it. This is the plan. This is the how do I kick Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis out of the news every single day for the next X number of days. And after I've kicked them out of the race, how do I keep Joe Biden out of the news? This is the model. And the Democrats have given it to him.
Well, I think that'll work in the primary, but you don't want to be in the news in the general election. When you have two weak, unpopular nominees, that's what we're heading toward right now. We'll talk more about that later. But you don't want to be in the news. You want Joe Biden in the news.
Well, this is just helping Trump right now, as you said.
Yeah,
the more he's on, the more he looks like a victim, especially with some of these cases. And this is another example. This is helping him. It's giving him free press.
Is this what you want to see in July, August, September, October, early November?
I don't want to see it as American. I mean, this idea of just flaunting the law because it benefits your political campaign, it's dangerous. Look, I as a Democrat, I think we're going to bring up again January 6th, unfortunately, he showed us who he is. He's got his son now saying that he wants to be president of the United States. So literally, you're going to have Don Jr. run after him, and then he's going to try to, like, save the White House for him. It's kind of terrifying, and I think someone should hold him accountable.
Jesse Weber, NewsNation legal contributor. Come on in, Jesse. What do you mean threatening to kick Donald Trump out of the courtroom? How's that the case? Explain it.
So Donald Trump was a little too audible, a little too loud when he was speaking with his attorneys. Now, just picture this, right? We don't have cameras in the courtroom. Every time a trial happens, the defendant speaks to their attorneys about what's going on. He was a little too loud, and the judge was concerned that the jury, who was sitting in this trial, was overhearing what he said. And he was saying things allegedly like, this is a political witch hunt, this is a con job. So the judge said, you got to keep it down. Donald Trump wasn't keeping it down, threatened to kick him out of the courtroom. Donald Trump said, I would love it, allegedly, and I have to believe that he wanted to. Because as we've been talking about, each one of these legal cases he's showing up at is like a campaign stop from him. Nobody's following the legal minutia of why he's losing these cases. I am, but for the everyday viewer, they're not, and it's going to look like it's political.
Hey, Jesse, it's Mick Mulvaney. Quick question. I've been in a courtroom a couple of times, and typically if you do get a party acting out, it happens from time to time, the penalty is not that the judge throws you out of the courtroom. The penalty is that the judge holds you in contempt and throws you in jail, which you can do in a civil case, at least temporarily. Did the judge even raise that today at all or not?
No, I mean, that seems like an extreme example. I don't know, maybe even in different kinds of courtrooms. The general times that I've seen it, I have seen criminal defendants, civil defendants kicked out of the courtroom if they're disruptive. Putting somebody in jail or for holding them in contempt is an extreme example, particularly when you're dealing with the former president of the United States. I don't think Judge Kaplan wants to be in that position or do anything that makes it look like he is biased towards Donald Trump. Anybody's going to look at it and thinks he's already losing because of politics, but really it's the law that is not on Donald Trump's side in this case.
Can we put up those sketch images again for a second? Because I was just looking at that and saying, wait a second. Sketch image. Can we pop them back up? No, not the hair. Not that one. Go forward to the next one. There we go. Is that a sketch image of him smirking? Is that what that is?
Yes.
And this is what we're spending our time talking about. I mean, this is the problem, right?
Exactly. But keep in mind what the law is here. What this case is about. Wait, hold on a second, Judge. Tell me if I'm wrong about this. The case, she accused him of sexual assault, right? He said, I didn't do it. She's now claiming that his denial is defamation. That's what the root of this case is, right?
A jury of his peers already found him liable.
Are we not allowed to deny these things anymore?
if I can really clear this up real quick, he already lost a case with respect to comments that he made in 2022. A separate jury already found him liable for defamation and sexual assault. Judge Kaplan said that that verdict already dictates other comments that he made in 2019 about E. Jean Carroll, saying that she's not his type and that, you know, these kind of accusations are terrible. So the judge said because he was already found liable in that case, he's liable here. All the jury has to decide here is how much he has to pay up in damages. So his attorneys are doing everything to suggest that he didn't harm.
Thank you for watching. And make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.